amount of memory. So after that, if we continue to let this video play out, you can see right there is Grand Theft Auto. Now I'm going to pause it right here because I do want to call out that the PlayStation 5 that is connected in this video is a PS5 Slim. Now I know you're probably wondering why it isn't flipped over, as it is in a different way, and I think he said he had lost his stand. And that is why. Now, one thing that we know about the PS5 Slims is that these started around PS5 version 7.x, which is going to be a bit interesting in just a moment when I talk about which firmwares he believes that this is going to be available for. So let's just go ahead and continue playing out this video here, and I think the rest of it is just him driving around. And it is that indeed. Now, inside of the post, he stated here 4K HDMI video plus audio, all USB ports, and currently running at 3.2 gigahertz CPU and 2.0 gigahertz GPU. It can be boosted to 3.5 gigahertz CPU and 2.23 gigahertz CPU. But my PS5 Slim model overheats too quickly. Now, as far as the ETA when, we can see here that ETA before Grand Theft Auto 6, which is scheduled to be released on November the 19th, 2026, sounds pretty good to me. And then he states in here, this only works with the full chain exploit like the Biprovisor, thus only available on older firmwares. Now, what I found really interesting in this is that, of course, he says only available on older firmwares. Well, we know with the hypervisor, it only affects PS5's 1.x and 2.x. But going back to the PS5 Slim, these only shipped on 7.x. So how is this PlayStation 5 running such a low 1 or 2.x firmware? I think that's the question most folks would like to know from the flow. But anyways, that is by far the biggest news as of the moment. Now, if we rewind just to yesterday, we started to see over here on Discord, Gajina finally saying, got Rob working, and then tagging Sea Turtle saying, I got it, and he says, done here, can't believe it worked. Now, just so you know, this 12.70 is only Master Core compatible. This does not mean that we have a kernel, which we do not at this current moment. Now, if you're a little bit confused about the firmwares, there is this little post that we can take a look at, and it says right here for 12.70, it is Master Core compatible. So the user link part of this one will be working. Now, for those of you that has a 12.0 PS5, well, we already have a kernel exploit, so chained with this, you would get a full PS5 jailbreak on 12.00. Now, we did see a message over here from CTurt. It said, in just a couple of months later, Gajina managed to exploit the compiler process too, and that this completes the Master Core exploit chain for the first time, allowing for arbitrary native userland code execution on the latest PS4 5 firmwares without needing a kernel exploit. And so again, this is that same Discord thread that we were just looking at. And so I guess it's always kind of cool to see someone expand on your project and make it actually a reality. Now, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is some news in regards to the PlayStation Vue. Now, I haven't made a separate video on this because I've just kind of been playing around with it, but those of you that are using the PlayStation Vue application to jailbreak your PlayStation 4, you can take advantage of this post, which is by this member called 15432, and that they stated that I'm tired of searching for what Sony has fixed in 1304, so here's a way to run BDJB using some other hack. So Vue, for example, it relies on the fact that any code in the BDJ apps library ext folder gets maximum permissions. So it says here that this could be useful to get rid of network requirements or to increase the hack stability, or it may not be very useful. Now, he states here that the things that you need to do is to run GoldHen using the view hack, and then connect to the PS4 and then enable read-write access to these system folders, and then put the jar file, which you can download whichever version you'd like down here, into this path, and now you do not even have to burn a disk anymore. You can reboot the console, and then if you leave in your original BDJB PS4 disk, you could run the hack and you wouldn't have a network requirement. So basically with this, you could either use the HenLoader BDJ disk or use the PlayStation View application to jailbreak your console. But with this, the biggest benefit would be that you would not have to have that network requirement that you have with the PlayStation View application. Next up, we're going to switch over to a little bit more news on PlayStation View, and that's because Lappy has released the View ThiewMaker 1.01. It says ready after Drake's testing here. Most of the tweaks are to the main menu. And now, when creating a theme, don't skip the README on how to install it. Now, there is this image here, and we can see down in here you can set the background color here or specify an image, give it a logo, main button, selected button, and what a success screen looks like, or a fail screen. So maybe you want to get rid of those default cats. Well, it looks like you would be able to do that with Lappy's tool over here. Now, again, this is over here on this mega link if you want to take a look at that. Now, the next thing that I wanted to do is give a quick update over here on the view icons. Now, I have covered this in detail, and so I do want to let you know that version 2.00 came out just about 9 hours ago, and really this just keeps adding more and more icons, and this is just a really handy tool. Next up, another tool by Labby is the View Initial Files 1.03. So this is a fake package that you can just simply run on your PlayStation 4 that is jailbroken, and you can copy over the very latest version of the view files and even switch between things such as the full mode or the lot mode. Now, this also includes the save data as well as the latest version of GoldHen. So again, I do have a video on this that I will leave a link to in the description. Now, to finish up, there was a couple of updates on save tools. So the first one is Apollo Save Tool for PS5. It says here that since people keep asking about it, I want to clarify there's no ongoing development of a PS5 version of Apollo Save Tool. I've been working in my free time building Apollo Save Tool across a whole number of platforms, and the support from the community has always been close to zero. If people want me to evaluate any request about a PS5 version, start by supporting my projects. So there you have it. If they get some more support, then it looks like they will be working on a PS5 version of Apollo Save Tool. Now, for those of us that wants to start working with some of this today, well, luckily we can, because there is this brand new PS5 CLI app that can handle your save game files. Now, if we scroll down into this a little bit, it says that this payload lets you handle and work with PS5 SaveData SD files. This is a CLI app. It offers the following features: so save data file mount and information visualization, save data file re-signing, exporting save data, and they do state that this is a work in progress here, and obviously some credits right there to the original author of Apollo Save Tool. Now, in order to use this, it's just simply sending over this payload. And again, you can use Netcat GUI if you would like to just go over here into the releases, and right there is the fall. Anyways, thank you so very much for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this, and I'll see you on the next one. Michael, out.